What's going on? Happy Thursday. So what I want to address is the energy that you take with you from one interaction to the next interaction, right? We may not think about this, but how the last interaction went can totally and completely affect how your next interaction goes. Now in this video, I want to talk about what you can do in between interactions to clean up your energy or to get back to a neutral or positive state. That's for you, Ethan. So that your next interaction has the best chance of being the best interaction of the day. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Now, let's look at it like this. You go out, you do an approach. Maybe you're a little off that day. Maybe your energy is a little bit off, right? Or maybe it's got nothing to do with you. Maybe her energy is a little bit off. Maybe she's just a little resistant to anybody talking to her, not just you. But you walk up, you muster up the courage to walk up, or maybe you're already feeling confident. You're in your body, you're relaxed, you're free, you flow. Hey, what's going on? I thought you looked beautiful. I wanted to come say hi. And then she looks at you and just goes cold. Or she says, oh, sorry, I'm not interested. Whatever, right? She gives you a little bit of a bitchy attitude. You kind of feel a little bit down emotionally, right? Your mood kind of tanks just a little bit. Drops down a little bit, right? You ain't feeling as confident as you was when you walked in there initially. Like, we know how that goes, right? Sometimes that can really just take the wind right out of us. So here we go, cool. I feel kind of like this. Oh, there goes another girl. I'm gonna go do another approach real quickly. I go over there, I start talking to this girl. Boom, 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 boom. I thought you're beautiful. Just ain't hitting right? Hey, I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend, right? You're starting to get that consistently. One after the other. Before you know it, you just kind of tapped out. You're like, I don't know what's going on, man. None of them are working. There's a chance that first one just took the wind right out of you, and you didn't take a second to sit with it. You didn't take a second to clean that energy up, right? If I ever find myself in that situation, that pattern where I'm getting rejected consecutively, back to back to back, I know there's something off in my energy, and I need to slow down and I need to deal with it. Because if I don't deal with it, I'm going to keep getting the same thing. And if I keep getting the same thing, it's kind of going to mess with my mood a little bit, right? It's kind of going to affect how I feel about myself a little bit, especially if I'm not aware of what's going on. If I'm not aware that I'm carrying energy from a different interaction, and that's the reason that I keep getting rejected left and right, one after the other, I'm going to think it's me. And I'm going to think it's something that I'm doing wrong. Or if I have a negative belief about myself, those rejections, those back-to-back rejections, they're going to latch onto some negative belief that I have about myself. And it's going to amplify that negative belief about myself. See, I told you so. See, I told you women didn't like me. Even if yesterday you were killing it. Even if yesterday you were insta-day, making out with chicks in the club, girls were liking you, you get numbers. You know what I mean? So we gotta stop, we gotta slow down, we gotta clean our energy up. Because if we don't, that whole thing can spiral and it can take us out for a couple of days. You ever been out approaching and you had a pretty bad day and it made you not want to go out tomorrow? But have you been approaching where you had a really good day and all the women were connecting with you, all your interactions were hitting perfectly, you were getting numbers, things were going fine, you woke up the next morning and you couldn't get out of bed quick enough to go approach, right? That's what I'm talking about. So how do we fix that? If for whatever reason you end up on your first approach, your energy's off, her energy's off, something's not meshing, and then you go down emotionally, this is where self-awareness really comes into place. You gotta have that self-awareness. What am I feeling right now? Actually, I would recommend you do this after all your interactions, even if they go good. Because even if an interaction goes good, you could feel bad after. You could feel guilty that it worked so well, right? You could have that thing where it's just like a fear of success. It went so well, now I'm scared to sabotage it. I have a fear that there's a responsibility now that I got her number she's expecting. I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to blow it. So I would do this after every interaction, whether it went bad or whether it went good. Take a second, chill. Go grab some lunch. Go somewhere where you can be by yourself for a little bit. Sit back and chill for a little bit, right? What am I feeling right now? Well, I'm feeling a little bit heavy. I'm noticing I'm feeling a little bit heavy. Do I know why I'm feeling heavy? Yeah, because that girl was kind of rude. I felt a little rejected, right? I feel like she didn't need to do it that harshly, right? These are just kind of the thoughts that might come up. And if they do, you're perfectly on track. That was kind of brutal the way she did that. It triggered something in me. Maybe it made me feel small. I felt like a little kid. I felt like a little boy after that. I felt kind of embarrassed, right? Getting real with what you're feeling in that moment is everything. The more raw and honest you can get with what you're feeling, the quicker you'll have your release. Okay? So find out what's congruent to what you're feeling. If you can't quite get it, run through a couple things. Just blurt out a couple things. I feel heavy. I feel light. I feel down. I feel up. Okay. Something's going to connect. Something's going to reach. Something's going to be like, oh, that's what it is. Especially when you get in alignment with what it is you're feeling, you'll feel the vibration pick up, like energetically. It'll have a charge to it. It'll have an emotional charge to it, almost as if it had a ring to it, right? You feel it in your body. You're like, yep, that's the one right there. I feel like this. The more raw you get with yourself, the quicker you can access that. That should automatically start taking you up the scale. That should automatically start taking you up the scale a little bit. So what you might do is, once you kind of pinpoint what it is, what you're feeling, you could go through a whole process of things. You could literally just ask yourself, can I allow myself to feel this way? Can I allow the part of me that feels small right now? Can I allow the part of me that feels like I was spoken down to? The part of me that feels like a little boy right now, right? The part of me that feels embarrassed. Especially if people saw you. Let's say if people saw you approaching and they saw you get shot down, that may amplify it a little bit for you. So you might say, kind of allow the embarrassment that I had of everybody seeing me get shut down like that, right? The more congruent you can get with what you're feeling, the quicker it'll release. The minute you start to allow it and welcome it, and what is it supposed to feel like? How do you know if you're welcoming it correctly, right? I get this question a lot. As you're welcoming it, you'll start to feel like it either gets heavier or it starts to lift off of you, or energetically, let's say, the vibration that you're in, the electric charge that you feel around your body, it'll start to go outward, it'll start to get heavier, or it'll start to get lighter. You know when you got it if it starts to move in some direction, right? It won't just stay still. So basically, the energy should be moving somewhere, right? You should be feeling something. It should be going out, expanding, should be going, maybe you get a little heavier, maybe you start feeling lighter, okay? As you're going through this process, or as I'm going through this process, I'm just paying attention to what I'm feeling. Is it moving? Which way is it moving? What's it doing? Am I having resistance to it, right? Because I could also be having resistance to it. And I might ask myself, can I allow any resistance that I might be having right now? Can I welcome the resistance? If you can feel there's a resistance, right? But if you feel it flowing and it's doing its job, keep welcoming it, keep allowing it to show up, keep allowing it to show up. It may show up in waves. Be with it until it continues to get lighter, lighter, lighter. Now, if it gets heavy, don't get scared. That's it doing its job, it's moving. Sometimes it gets heavier before it gets lighter. If it gets heavier, keep welcoming the heavy feelings. Keep welcoming the heavy feelings. Notice as it goes down, you welcome more of the heaviness. Yeah, I feel it being very heavy right now. I'm just going to welcome the heaviness. Can I allow more of this heaviness? Can I allow it to be even heavier? Right? Start to notice as you do that, it'll start to rise back up the scale. You'll start to feel lighter and lighter. So start to do this. Start to use this as a practice. Ultimately, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get yourself to either a neutral place of being like, yeah, I don't feel like I'm carrying anything from that interaction. Actually, what you should be able to do technically is look back at the last interaction you have, no matter how bitchy she was being, no matter how much of a pain in the ass she was being, and you should be able to look back on it and smile. You should be able to look back on it and send her some love, right? You should be able to look back on it and be like, hey, I hope her day gets better, right? Completely separate yourself from that. And it's not a doing, it's an allowing process. It naturally happens if you keep allowing. So once you get to this neutral place, or even better, you get to a place of you start feeling very positive, or you start to feel courage, acceptance, peace in these higher emotional states, you'll naturally notice it. You'll feel it. You'll be like, man, I feel good right now. Like, I can get up and I can run a lap, right? And all of a sudden, when you stand up and you see another girl walking down the street, your body naturally wants to go over there and it's not carrying this heavy baggage from your last interaction. So when you show up in this new interaction, you're doing it from a very fresh, energized place, and it's got a greater effect. So go out there, use this for practice. Let me know how it works for you guys. Drop it in the comments below. Hope you guys gained some insight in this video. Again, if you guys are not a part of our new Facebook group, hit the link in the description. It's called HID, high integrity dating private Facebook group. We got about 24 guys in there now. It's filling up fast. I'm dropping all types of information in there, just random sporadic videos, questions. It feels like a community in there, right? That's what I want. I want a community of guys who are committed to going out and approaching where I can actually help you guys. And that's one place I can do it, is that private Facebook group, okay? Anyways, love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.